Another Monday Night Raw in the ring they clash. SmackDown Friday night body slam with the crash. The casual guy talking don't let it pass. He spits the truth in the wrestling podcast bash. From the top ropes they died for the belt that bent. Blood, sweat and tears they reap what they spend. In the square circle lives twist and then listen to the tales, the casual guy's intent. From the top ropes they died for the belt that bent. Blood, sweat and tears they reap what they spent. In the squared circle live life twist and then listen to the tales, the casual guy's intent. Tune in, tune out, hear the rush out. WrestleMania, wrestle and wait for it. Heroes fall, villains rise, they dance the violent dance. Chairs, tables, ladders, stakes, the audience in a trance. Casual guy breaks it down chance by chance. He peels back the curtain, gives secrets a glance. Podcast waves reverberate like a count. Each move, each fight, not just for the clout. Standing tall in chaos, what it's all about.
Another episode of Casual Guy Cast, where we're going to talk a little Monday Night Raw review today. If you were the one person who was watching me live yesterday, I apologize. I I got a couple things wrong, and I was like, oh my god, what am I saying right now? And so I just decided to kill the stream. We'll pick it back up tomorrow where we left off. Not exactly where we left off. I ended up deleting it. So we're going to start from the top today. But thank you for joining. If you're out here watching, we can get right into it. So last episode, I talked about the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. And where has Bobby been? He's been missing. Sorry, let me get rid of this screen. Get back. There we go. Well, it apparently there was an article that came out on Sunday when I did my last episode that Bobby's contract's expired and he is going to be moving on to maybe Japan, maybe AEW, maybe a little bit of both. And so, I mean, the dude's been with WWE for 20 plus years. He's a great pickup by either one of those organizations that he goes to. But I think where the WWE's at right now is like a guy like Bobby Lashley. You kind of got to give a little more spotlight to than what he has been given in the last few years. And so I think it makes sense for both parties. By all accounts, from what I've read, the the split was ended on a good note, and so that's cool to hear. But wish Bobby nothing but the best as he goes into his next chapter in wrestling. So that's a follow up on that. Uh, as far as Monday Night Raw goes, we started out with Randy and Gunther going back and forth once again. This is kind of more of the same that we're seeing. Obviously, a lot of build up to Bash in Berlin. Just a little bit of mic work there, getting people hyped up. The one thing I will say is that at one point, uh, Gunther called Randy an underachiever, and I'm gonna have to push back a little bit on that one. Uh, on the ring general, because I don't know if that's the right way to describe Randy. 14-time heavyweight champ doesn't exactly scream underachiever to me. Um, and so that was the only thing that I took from that, and I was like, I don't know about that. After that, we had Sheamus versus Pete Dunne. This was hands down the match of the night. Um, Man, these guys put on a show, and it was a really fun match to watch. Um, and I don't know. More than anything, like I'm stoked to see Sheamus back. When he first made his return, everyone was making the joke burger after burger, but Sheamus is putting on boinger after boinger after boinger. And he put on a boinger with Pete Dunne on Monday night. Some highlights of the match. Pete Dunne's power bomb on Sheamus, I thought was a really great move and kind of showcased what he's capable of. And probably my favorite moment of the night maybe was uh, Pete Dunne stuffs Sheamus's broken hand into the turnbuckle to like trap him. He kicks his hand, and then Sheamus rips the turnbuckle off with his busted hand and ends up finishing Pete Dunne. So it was a really fun match to watch. I loved it a lot. And I think this is a great match. Like, this is a breakout match for Pete Dunne, man. I mean, the guy has not really gotten a lot of spotlight, and I think him and Sheamus kind of squaring off and putting on a match like this, not too unsimilar from um, like Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. Like, I think those were great matches for Carmelo Hayes, especially. But I think this is another great matchup and rivalry for Pete Dunne to kind of put him into the spotlight a little bit, get him some shine. So we'll see what comes out of this rivalry. I think it'll probably last another month or so, but we'll see. But shout out to those guys. They had the match of the night for me. Next up, we had the New Day versus the Final Testament. Uh, and before the match gets started, you go backstage with the New Day, with the new look New Day, with Odyssey Jones, and I know they're sort of playing this like Odyssey's driving a wedge in the New Day, and Xavier Woods thinks that Kofi's trying to replace Big E. Um, and I think more of the Final Testament side is like, no, he's replacing Xavier Woods. But I didn't, if you heard me yesterday, whoever you are out there, that one person, um, I didn't think that the New Day would split, but I saw a couple things, just like clips of that scene, maybe a little bit more in the past day, and I don't know, man. I think you could sort of see New Day split, um, but I could also see him adding Odyssey Jones, and the New Day's kind of back. And Kofi Kingston brought up like, oh, it's not about replacing Big E; it's about bringing up the next generation. And so I would love to see that. I don't think that. Well, maybe the New Day's. I don't want to say tired, but they need some sort of like injection to keep them relevant and keep them going. So maybe they do split up. I'm maybe a little more open to the thought of that after kind of like looking over things a little bit more, but we'll see, like we always do. But I think New Day will stay intact. That's my opinion. Um, as far as the match between, it was a three versus three match, New Day versus Final Testament. I like what the Final Testament has been doing lately. When we go back to the days where Carrington uh, Cross was feuding with Drew McIntyre, like none of that stuff really went over. It didn't really make a ton of sense to me. Um, and I like what the Final Testament has been doing lately. So, um, you know, uh, more specifically with the match, I thought Cross kind of he struggled with a couple of moves early on in the match, and then they kind of got it back together. But I guess the big drama of this match was that towards the end, Kofi gives Odyssey Jones the tag instead of Xavier Woods, and you see the drama there. No, he's picking Odyssey Jones instead of Xavier Woods. Uh-oh. Um, and Odyssey Jones ends up winning the match for New Day. So we'll see what happens next week. Maybe there's probably some more drama going on there. But I think at a certain point, Odyssey Jones is going to stick up for himself and kind of try and unite New Day. There could be a turn after that, but I think Odyssey Jones will speak up and try and reassure Xavier Woods that he's not trying to replace anyone. He's just like the next iteration of the New Day. Um, here's an interesting take. All right. I was watching this segment with my wife, and she goes, "That that Final Testament group sort of looks like Kevin Owens." And I was like, yeah, I see that. And then it got me thinking, like, what if a dude like KO joined the Final Testament? Um, I think that automatically makes them a legit faction moving forward. Um, I talked about KO last week and how he came out with like the red KO on his shirt. Um, and that could be signaling a heel turn here uh, for KO. And so I'm like, okay, well, if KO turns heel, there's some out there that are thinking WWE might shock the world and have KO beat Cody Rhodes. I don't see that happening, but maybe there's a small percentage of me that could see that happening. Um, but I think either way, if a KO joined New Testament, I think they instantly become a legit faction. I think the writing's on the wall for the Final Testament to um, have a rivalry against Wyatt Six. Maybe it's the Judgment Day, something like that. But um, we'll see. Anyways, that was just kind of a big what if scenario that I thought might be kind of cool. Sorry, I haven't been sharing any of these pictures along while I talk. So let's start doing that now. Here we go. Where is it? Here we go again. There we are. All right. So, gosh, what the heck? Work with me here. There we go. Right? Yeah, good enough. We can do hard things. Um, so after that, you go into a segment of Ivy Nile versus Maxine Dupree. That was the match set up, and it prefaced the match with a clip of Ivy Nile trying to persuade Maxine Dupree to join American Made. She declines. I need to be with my family. And then you go kind of straight into the match between the two. Um, but the whole match was disrupted. Uh, I think simply because the fact that before the match, when Ivy Nile was talking to American Made, Chad Gable brings up the Wyatt Six, and of course, what do you think is going to happen? Say his name, and he appears, or they appear. Here's the Wyatt Six. They come out, disrupt the match. There's no finish to the match, but it ends with Wyatt Six basically dismantling American Made, specifically our boy Chad Gable here. Um, and I think something's got to happen with the Wyatt Six and American Made and Chad Gable again. I think I don't know if the Wyatt Six versus Chad Gable thing makes a ton of sense to me. And I'm kind of waiting for the payoff. If you're like me, so um, hopefully that comes soon, and I'd like to see the Wyatt Six sort of move on. I think it's rumored that that Uncle Howdy's gonna end up fighting Chad Gable for his first match. I'm not sure if that's gonna be on next week or what, but it looks like that's coming soon. So Bo Dallas making his in ring official return to the WWE. Um, After that, we had a little Terror Twins promo. Um, and, you know, uh, I think it's just more back and forth here between these two. But for me, the thing that I keep seeing on social media is you see Jey Uso and Rhea Ripley both mentioning each other, showing little cute pictures. Jay posted a picture of Rhea wearing a Yeet bracelet, kind of like the CM Punk bracelet that Drew has right now. And Rhea's been posting about Jay as well. So I'm curious, does Jay Uso join the Twins and they become the Terror Triplets or whatever? Um, but I think there's a couple of things at play here. I think the Terror Twins, um, later in the night, and we'll get there, but the Terror Twins need more help in order to defeat Judgment Day. So, where are they going to get the help from? I don't think this is too dissimilar from what they did with Roman Reigns in the Bloodline last week, where Bloodline defeats Roman Reigns. And so now they're cementing these ideas that these guys need more help if they're going to get over on these factions with more people in them. And so could Jay join the Terror Twins? Could Jay join back with Roman and Jimmy? Maybe Sammy? We'll see, but um, I don't know. I think it'd be curious to see Jay Uso join the Terror Twins, and like I talked about last week too, I really like the idea of Jay going for like an IC title, something like that. I don't think he's. I think he could have been a heavyweight contender maybe a year ago or so, but I think where we're at right now is it might be the best move to have him holding a different kind of belt. Hopefully, it's not the U.S. title. Yeah. Um, so we'll see what happens there. After that, we had CM Punk come out and he walks out to the ring with a strap. So you all know what this means. Um, and as soon as he comes out there, he talks for a little while. And of course, who enters but our boy Drew McIntyre? So CM Punk challenges Drew to a strap match at Bash in Berlin. Drew accepts, of course. Um, and CM Punk's like, throw me the bracelet and I'll throw you the strap. And Drew's like, ah, you're a liar. You're not gonna do that. And so I don't know. I'm still not over this rivalry. I still enjoy it. And I think just Drew is like not even like necessarily a bad guy, but this just like angry guy. It's funny to me. I dig it, and so I am not in any rush to end the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre rivalry. I could see this carrying on for several more months. I think eventually it like I've talked about, it could lead to some sort of five-way rivalry between Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Gunther, and who else? I'm spacing out right now. But I think you sort of got this mix of guys that could contend for that heavyweight title. And that makes me think about the Universal title. We've got KO going up, but outside the obvious of Roman Reigns, like who's really contending for Cody's title? I think we got to do something here a little bit. I know there's probably biding time to set up a big match for next year and just let Cody hang on, but I think we got to mix something up with Cody. There needs to be some competition there. Um, After that, we had a promo with Rhea Ripley, and oh, I'm sorry, we had a promo with Dom and Liv. My bad. Um, Dom calls Damien out for a match tonight. And this is like the first time you've seen Dom step into that main role sort of figure. The dude's been, I'm not going to say the laughing stock, but, um, you know, they haven't really given Dom a ton of like uh, contender style matches. Um, He's kinda just been eating it for the last 2 years. He's the biggest heel in the WWE, um, and I think Monday Night Raw was sort of a signal that he's ready to contend with the biggest names in the WWE. I don't think it's gonna be an overnight thing, but challenging, Damian Priest is like the first step in making the audience believe that, "Oh, Dom can compete for, in these sorts of matches." And so, um I love it. Like, I think Dom absolutely deserves it. He's one of my favorites. I did not like him at first, and I think that was the point. But if nothing else, he really won me over with the chicken nuggies and video games comment last week. But I really like what Dom's doing. They took him from a huge heel to an even bigger heel, and the dude's just like okay, like he's okay with being the bad guy, um, waiting his turn to get his shot, and so I love this move for Dom. And I hope they do give him more of a push now that you don't have the dominant personalities that you had in Judgment Day with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. Those guys are out of the picture now, and so you need another bigger figure to step up within Judgment Day, and I think he's that dude. So good on him. Uh, After that, we had Bronson Reed versus The Miz in a match. Uh, and like last week, they're giving Bronson Reed a big push here. Um, Bronson comes, you know, puts Miz through a table, finishes the match with the Miz, and then here comes big Braun Strowman. I've talked about Braun Strowman in the past, and I think he doesn't take the bumps super well, but uh, I think it's about time that these two are faced um, against each other in a rivalry. Like you've got these two giants on the roster on the same show, and they've never had a rivalry. And so I think while they're giving Bronson Reed a bigger push, I think this is a good push for Braun Strowman too, and I'd love to see this rivalry play out um, a little bit more over time. Maybe it's another month or two, something like that. But I think you got something here. I think Bronson Reed is way athletic for the dude's size. Excuse me. Um, and so I really like this rivalry. I can't wait to see what develops, and I hope it's a good push for both of them because I think both of them have been sort of underutilized a little bit, um, deserved or not. After that, you had um, just like a little promo. I know this is Sheamus versus our boy Pete Dunne. But you had a little promo with Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser, and um, I think they're starting to give Sheamus a little more of a push. This is way better than anything that they had going with the Brawling Brutes, in my opinion. And I think this is a good move for Kaiser as well. I think Kaiser's just sort of always been the sidekick to Gunther, and so I think it's cool that they're sort of spotlighting um, Kaiser a little bit more and giving him a push. And Sheamus, like this dude's putting Pete Dunne over. He's putting Kaiser over. So shout out to Sheamus, man. We're big fans here at the Casual Guy Cast. Um, that led into the women's triple threat tag team match between the Damage Control, the champions Unholy Union, and the newly coined Pure Fusion Collective. The Pure Fusion Collective? And don't get me wrong, like I've talked about how I think um, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark deserve a little bit of a push, and I think they could be contenders soon. But the Pure Fusion Collective, it sounds like a co-op vegan restaurant grocery store or something. So I don't know how I feel about that name, but that being said, Unholy Union remain champs after this match, and it's still interesting to me. I don't, I don't know why. Like, it's still weird to me that they've been champions for this long. It seems like they've kind of been bouncing those tag titles around. So we'll see what comes out of this. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, but I think it's going to be one of those two groups that ends up uh, taking the titles from Unholy Union. My money would be on Pure Fusion Collective. It seems like they're adding another piece to that, giving them a name, and so I feel like the writing's on the wall a little bit there that they might get the title here soon. Um, towards the end of the show, you had a promo with Braun Breaker. And in my opinion, it was a little bit of a rough promo. Just like the mic work didn't feel great to me, which is not unlike what I'm doing here right now. I know it's a little bit rough. I'm trying to get better and I know Braun's Breaker is trying to do the same. So I can't fault the dude. But like I said in the past, like I think there should have been a maybe a slower build um, to get Braun Breaker his title shot. Um, so I don't know. That's just my opinion. After that, they cut to Jay Uso, who says that he's going to become the IC champ, and I love this move. Like I said earlier when I was talking about Jey Uso joining the Terror Twins, I think this is a good focus for Jey Uso to sort of put himself in that title contention because I think he could be a great champion with one of those types of belts. They're doing a number one contenders tourney that will start next week on Raw. And so we will see who comes out on top there. That led us into um, the Dom versus Damian Priest match, if you want to call it that. There wasn't actually a match. Um, so Damian starts by coming out, walking out to the ring, and then before he even gets to the ring, here comes the rest of the Judgment Day, attacking Damian Priest before he gets to the ring. And Damian Priest handled the entire Judgment Day, which left just Rhea and Dom in the ring. And so Rhea starts to give it to Dom a little bit, throws him outside the ring. She's about to put him through the announcer's table, and then here comes Liv Morgan with a chair to take out Rhea Ripley, and you sort of just end the scene with the Judgment Day standing over the Terror Twins in victory. And so this again is like where they did it last week with Roman and the Bloodline. Um, and they did it this week with the Terror Twins and Judgment Day. They're setting it up that okay, these guys can't beat the bigger group. So I think you're going to start seeing some people getting added to the mix on the side of those who have less people or just one person in Roman Reigns' case. So they need some help to defeat these factions. After that, you get to the main event of the evening, which was Ludwig Kaiser, European Excellence versus Randy Orton. There was Gunther arrives to be sidelined at the during the match, and there was minimal interference from Gunther until after the match, where Gunther starts to lay in a little bit to Randy Orton. We're from today about a week and a half out from Bash in Berlin, so going to be another probably similar storyline on Monday Night Raw next week, something like that. But we'll see. As far as Bash in Berlin goes, let's take a look at the matches that we have so far. Let me pull this up. All right. Bash in Berlin. All right. So obviously you've got Gunther versus Randy Orton. You've got the mixed tag team with the Terror Twins and Judgment Day. What else do we got going on here? Is that it? Confirmed? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. Sorry, I forgot about that. We got the CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. And then we got LA Knight and Santos Escobar. Okay, cool. Braun Breaker. Are these confirmed? These are maybe speculated matches. So the LA Knight versus Santos Escobar, I think that happens. Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker versus Sheamus versus Kaiser. I could see that. I think you want Kaiser wrestling in his homeland. And then, oh yeah, the Bloodline versus DIY for the tag titles. So we'll see how it plays out. We got another week. But next week, probably next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, something like that. If it's Saturday, I'll do it before Bash in Berlin, but I'll give you all my predictions as we get closer. Probably later next week, I'll run another show. Hopefully, run another show Saturday or Sunday. We'll go over a little bit of SmackDown review. But other than that's all I've got for you today. Thank you for tuning in to the Casual Guy Cast. I will see you soon. Probably soon. I'll probably see you soon. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.
Another Monday Night Raw in the ring, they clash. SmackDown Friday night, body slam with the crash. The casual guy talking, don't let it pass. He spits the truth in the wrestling podcast bash. From the top ropes, they dive for the belt defense. Blood, sweat, and tears, they reap what they spend. In the square circle, lives twist and bend. Listen to the tales, the casual guy's intense. From from the top ropes, they dive through the belt that bends. Blood, sweat, and tears, they reap what they spend. In the squared circle, live life, twist, and bend. Listen to the tales, the casual guys intent. Tune in, tune out, hear the rush out.